it's one of my biggest frustrations about young players, especially at Chelsea recently, where people write off players before they even had a chance to see them. It's something I have expressed before. Once you can never truly make a judgment, especially on a young player who's still growing, still evolving, until you get to see them play in consecutive matches where they are a regular starter. Right? Ruben, there was doubts about Ruben before he came into the team last year. There were doubts about Tammy, calling him a championship striker. I'm not really sure about him. And this is a guy who never got a chance to be number 9 for Chelsea. And now he's being given that chance by a manager who believes in young players, or just believes in a meritocracy, believes if you are the best player on a training pitch, you deserve to start for me. And I'm going to put my faith in you, as I don't care about your age. You're a good striker. You're going to score goals for Chelsea as Chelsea's number 9. Hello there guys, what is going on? Son of Chelsea back here again for my rational perspective on Wolves 2, Chelsea 5. Yes, Wolves 2, Chelsea 5. An incredible performance really from Frank Lampard's team today that I have to say I didn't see coming, and there was a lot of things as fans we did not see coming today. Performance-wise, tactically, the lineup. But what a pleasant and incredible surprise it was. And I don't want to go too far because there are elements of today's game that are still a little bit concerning. But when you actually look in reflection, going to a team like Wolves, who, yes, haven't started the season well, but how many other of the top teams have been there and are going to go there and do what we did today? Absolutely played them off the park. Mostly and really until they had the 2 goals they scored late on, limit them to anything. And this is from a Chelsea side that has looked fragile and just weak at the back so far this season. And we just went there and dominated today in a performance, one of the best Chelsea performances I've seen in a very long time. And once again, I don't like to go too overboard with these things, but credit is where it's due to Frank Lampard and his team and the young players, which we're going to focus on. But we have to, of course, talk about the lineup. And, I think I mentioned this in my, I mentioned it on Twitter and also in the comments of my team selector. I recorded it before Frank did his press conference. And so there was no Kante, no Emerson. But the thing that shocked us, all of us, when that team came out, 3 at the back, Rudiger, Tomori and Christensen as a back 3 with Alonso and Azpilicueta as the wing backs. Now, you can sort of debate whether it was a 3-4-3 or with Mount and Willian playing a little bit more narrow, or whether Mount was up with the striker. I would say it looked more like a 3-4-3, but Mount, it almost plays like a second striker at times. He's very direct, and Willian as well, so I think that both, you could make an argument for both of those, but it worked. It worked a treat because Chelsea came out. We looked confident and assured at the start, comfortable. That fear about the likes of Adama Traore up against Alonso really didn't rear their heads at all really in the game. And Chelsea really took control. And there was a few times where, it was a Jorginho pass or a Christensen pass that was just overhit. And you felt like if we get one of these right, we're going to create a chance. But then Fikayo Tomori really set the game alight with that strike. Absolutely out of nowhere. It looked like one of those frustrating set pieces that we do where we try and overplay it and eventually lose the ball and lose the opportunity to create a chance. But it just came to Tomori outside the box. A wicked strike that gave Patricio no chance. And it's 1-0 and we're into raptures, and it was such an amazing goal, such an amazing strike for Fikayo, who once again gets the nod, gets the chance under Frank, gets that faith, and once again had a really good game today. And what a strike for him! And I'm pretty sure going forward now, anytime he's in that position, the crowd, Chelsea fans, are going to be screaming at him to take a shot, because what a strike that was. And from there, we just went for the throats of Wolves. There was no holding back. Chelsea just seemed from there to grow in confidence, and Fikayo Tomori had such a massive hand in that second goal, running forward, taking the ball into the box, laying it off for Mount, and then it eventually found Tammy Abraham with an incredible strike, a credible finish, who makes it 2-0, and we're in control of the game. And I think that's what that back 3 gives you. We saw it a lot under Conte. It allows one of those centre-backs to almost get into midfield. We saw it a lot with Dave, if you remember. A lot of goals coming from that sort of area where one of our centre-backs would be left unmarked and they'd be able to surge forward. And that's what this formation gives you, and gave Tomori, at times Christensen, at times Rudiger, who had a really good first 45 minutes, I felt, back in the team. Even Zuma in the second half at periods. So it gives you that freedom and gives you that different alternative and a different chance that a back four just doesn't give you, because, you know, like a defender going that far forward and not having any sort of protection behind him would be worrying. But because you do have that protection behind you, it does give defenders a license to move forward. And then the third goal, Marcos Alonso, great ball in as back at wing back, his favoured position, lovely ball in, and a wonderful header by Tammy, and it's 3-0. And once again, we're just, it felt like dreamland. I couldn't believe what I was watching, really. We'd gone towards a difficult game and we were 3-0 up. We were just cruising. And Tammy Abraham, we go into the second half, Tammy Abraham with the pick of the bunch, probably his best goal in a Chelsea shirt so far this season, and there's a lot already, 7 now, 7 in 5 games, incredible, 7 in 3, of course Norwich, Sheffield United and now Wolves, absolutely astonishing. And that goal that he finished off from a Jorginho pass, Jorginho's first official assist for Chelsea, wonderful. But that goal, that fourth goal, was just no words. There are not many adjectives to describe how amazing that finish was. And the technique, the skill, the strength to hold off Conor Cody, who's a decent defender, and then that little touch from his right foot that took it out and gave him the space to then drill it to the bottom corner, to place it. Really, it wasn't a smash hit. It was a placed finish into the bottom corner. And there's the hat trick. And Tammy Abraham, I've spoken on here before, and his critics and his doubts, and I think you just want to talk about how amazing his finishing is and what he has done and what he keeps doing, proving critics wrong, doing things that if any other top striker did, if we had bought a player for 60 million and he came in and started scoring goals like that, like Diego did when he came in, there'd be much more praise of him. The finishing is varied. He scores a bundles of goals today. Like he scores different goals, and that is the mark of a great striker. It's not one particular goal, as we saw with Norwich, the goal there, the 2 goals there. And the goals today, he's able now to hold up the ball, and that goal, that fourth goal, just rounded off an incredible day for him once again. And I think the point I want to make is that with young players, and I spoke about this with Alex Goldberg, I've continued to speak about this on my channel, it's one of my biggest frustrations about young players, especially at Chelsea recently, where people write off players before they even had a chance to see them. It's something I have expressed before. Once you can never truly make a judgment, especially on a young player who's still growing, still evolving, until you get to see them play in consecutive matches where they are a regular starter. Right? Ruben, there was doubts about Ruben before he came into the team last year. There were doubts about Tammy, calling him a championship striker. I'm not really sure about him. And this is a guy who never got a chance to be number 9 for Chelsea. And now he's being given that chance by a manager who believes in young players, or just believes in a meritocracy, believes if you are the best player on a training pitch, you deserve to start for me. And I'm going to put my faith in you, as I don't care about your age. You're a good striker. You're going to score goals for Chelsea as Chelsea's number 9. And that's what Tammy's doing. And of course, he's still got a long way to go. He's still young. He's going to have difficult moments. I'm not going to big him up and say he's, you know, the next Costa, the next Drogba. He's the first Tammy Abraham. And it's just wonderful to see. It's a dream come true to see academy graduates playing for Chelsea. Not only being given a chance at Chelsea, but scoring goals and leading us to victory. For me, it's a dream come true, and it's something that just is. It's just wonderful, and especially with Frank at the helm, this early already getting performances like that I think in some cases we have deserved. We wanted more of a rounded performance, a more complete performance, rather than 10-minute spurts here, 20 minutes there, and we went for the jugular today, and we got what we deserved, which was an amazing victory. Just before because I keep on waxing lyrical about Tammy and the young players, as well, I think Willian and Alonso, 2 criticised players who I think worked wonders again today. I think they some of the best performances I've seen from them in recent times, especially Alonso with that assist. He clearly, of course, is a wing back and worked wonders under Conte there, and clearly showed today that he wants to be part of this team and can offer things. Just because I believe that the likes of Alonso and Willian are not maybe the future or starters for me, that doesn't mean those experienced players, those experienced winners who've won Premier League titles can't have an impact and can't play in the system and can't help the younger players and still be a benefit to Chelsea. And I think both of those players deserve credit today because they're players that constantly get criticism fairly, but get a lot of abuse as well. And they deserve credit for what they did today because I thought they had really good games. Tomori, Rudiger, Christensen, Zuma when he came on. I hope it's not too bad with Rudiger. I hope it's only a knock because, of course, him being back and looking very solid straight away just transforms our defence really. And of course wasn't on the pitch when we conceded those 2 goals, but I think all round the defenders deserve a lot of credit today. And of course Mason Mount scoring the goal just before the end, which we'll come to. But of course the only negative is those 2 goals that we conceded, which you were fearful it was going to take the gloss off, and you're sort of thinking 6 minutes out of time and they've got 2 here, 1 more and it's squeaky bum time. But luckily Mason with a lovely finish at the end to really round off the day. But that was something that's slightly concerning because we're in a position where this is a statement result for Chelsea, and it still is a statement result. You know, all across the league people will be looking at this game and going 5-2 Chelsea at Wolves, and people are going to be looking at, and that should have been a closer game. But just when the game turns once again and a few subs Frank made, and it was just a little bit worrying that game could have turned. Luckily, Wolves weren't on form today and couldn't make more of those chances. But at least it wasn't. I think in some ways you're sort of like, at least it wasn't like 100% amazing. So Frank still has things we can sort of rein back a bit and still say there are some concerns there. I thought Kepa should have saved the first one personally, and Tammy getting the own goal. So Tammy scoring 4 goals today really. But yeah, that is slightly a worry. And of course, we've got Liverpool coming up next week, who, if a game turns like that, are one of the best, if not the best in the league at doing that. So those are things that Frank will need to pin down. But the thing I want to sort of stress is this like the Conte moment? Now, I'm not going to say we're going to win the league. I really don't. It's going to be a battle for top 4 or top 6. But what I mean by that is this something Frank has stumbled upon because of injuries, because of the opposition, and it's worked wonders? Is this going to be his formation now? I think the great thing about Frank is he's evolving as a manager, and he's not wedded to one formation, which is positive. He's not a manager who's played a certain way for however long, and he's just stuck to that. So he's gonna change his formations. I think he's gonna be versatile. He's gonna adapt to different formations and different opposition to suit the circumstance. But maybe this is a turning point for Frank as Chelsea manager. We never know. But absolutely incredible in dreamland. What a performance, what a result. We're on cloud 9, and it really sets us up well going into what is going to be a tricky week. The Champions League is back on Tuesday, so there's a quick turnaround. It's going to be interesting to see how Frank approaches that game. Does he stick to a back 3? We've just scored 5. So is he going to stick to that, or is he going to switch? We're going to have to wait and see. We've got other players coming back. Another thing I tweeted as well, I just want to do this before I wrap up, is this is a Chelsea team without N'Golo Kante, without Ruben Loftus-Cheek, without Callum Hudson-Odoi, without Reece James, and I've already mentioned, without Emerson. Those are key players that we still have yet to come back. Frank has been dealing with big players missing so far this season. So that is something to point out as well. So that is something as well to get excited about on top of the performance itself. So I think all round, it's just amazing. It's an amazing day for Chelsea, but we move on. We've got difficult challenges ahead, and I don't want to get too carried away, but you have to enjoy a performance like this and savour a performance like this with Frank and his team. So those are my opinions on today's game, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the game and the victory and the performances in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell to never miss an upload. Follow me on Twitter @SonOfChelsea, and I'll see you again.